No, I did, I just, this is the first.
You'll be able to go up there now.
I sat down
I
here.
have a hard time getting under clay pit.
This is, well, Melissa, the last meeting yesterday, she'll make one out.
Well, she's been doing her that story.
This is what she came up with. No, this is the first
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Okay.
Well, I would rather have you up here because everybody, everyone's on to look at it.
Yeah, you might not get under there because they had just last week.
Well, they're confused.
Yeah.
I heard one.
Can you take a picture of
They
it?
got it all.
They had to do it.
Oh, that's okay.
Don't you?
What?
My computer tip I gave you?
That water come up.
Oh, yeah, all the pictures and everything? Yeah.
Give them to her.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Our cousin Mary.
I know you right there. I'm sorry. I wouldn't do that for long. You do your job, right?
Next one, a complaint form for employees, not. We need the same thing to be for everyone.
You made it. Are you lost? Are you lost? What's it going to be? Bill's here too. Oh, really? Oh, sugar jets. It's cutting into my tigers.
No, I don't have one. What?
It's cutting into my tigers.
Oh, yeah.
They won last night. Woo.
For 13 innings.
Yeah, well, they still,
All I ever
Who hit the
say.
home run?
well,
Which one?
The last one.
oh,
The one that won, I thought there was a home run that won.
No, it was
Davis,
a blue single on the,
oh, that one.
Oh,
actually it was a fly out, I
I
think.
went to sleep in
Martinez hit the last home run.
Who did?
JD.
Oh, yeah,
Mickey.
no. He hasn't hit a home run, what?
Oh, yeah.
Perfect shot of the back of Wild's head. I'm gonna use
Okay, I'll call meeting in order, please rise. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Here.
Clark,
Here.
Taylor,
Here. Here.
Ryan,
Here. Need a motion to approve the agenda? Is there any discussion?
Are we not doing the DDA reports anymore over here, or?
I don't know, I guess I didn't realize it was out of there, so. Need a motion to approve the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Support.
Been moved and supported. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Approval of the minutes of August 12th, 2015. Any discussion?
Motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Been supported by Chapman. All those in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Public comment? Patty? Maureen, go ahead. Go ahead.
Do I have to go over there? I guarantee you can hear me.
Okay, speak up.
I'm Maureen Stenback, 7861 Bradford, which is right next door to Thurston Park Campground. And I understand you are considering requiring full payment up front for reservations for Thurston Park. I spent 13 summers in Thurston Park with my family, and I put my trailer on my favorite spot every year, the last Saturday in April. And it stayed there till about Labor Day. During the summer, I would pay my rent every couple weeks as I received my paycheck. Had I been expected to pay for those 4 months up front, I could never have done it. As an example, the lovely couple from Gosia who sets up camp next to me for 3 months every year would be expected to cough up almost $2 grand in advance. How many people can afford to do that? Many of the campers who stay for more than a couple of weeks are retired and on fixed incomes. Others are young families, also on budgets, who plan their summer vacations in Central Lake. Thurston Park is Central Lake's only money-making asset, I believe. Lyle, the only person I know who mows more grass than I do, has done an exemplary job managing the campground. There is an old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you invoke this pay up front policy, I'm afraid you may, to use another cliche, be shooting the very goose that lays the golden eggs all summer long.
Thank you. Patty?
Hello, my name is Patty Neepop. I think most of you know me. I just want to come back and say hello. Have a couple things if anybody's interested. County maps are envelopes. But I just want to let you know that we are pretty excited in our office. We just started with a new program. In October, there's going to be new legislation that will be enacted for the mortgage industries and the banking industries, that when they do a closing on a home or mortgage, it has to be brought to our office within 2 days. So with that in place, we have also started e-filing, which is pretty exciting for us, going with a paperless office kind of sort of. So I just thought I'd give you a heads up that that's going to be coming down the pike, and we've got a new program, and we're learning a whole new set of recording. So if you have any questions or need anything, please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Reports, please, Scott?
Thank you. Hopefully everybody get a chance to look at the report. Pretty busy month. Everything's kind of highlighted down the left-hand column there as far as what we did. It breaks down into the variations of reports. Kind of the highlights at the bottom. Assisted Elk Rapids DPW and the police department with their Harbor Day events. Attended annual driving school. That's kind of something that we're required to do every year, and we haven't done it for quite a while just because no one's ever had an instructor. So the sheriff's department graciously sent 2 people to school, and we got to jump in on that free of cost. So kind of one of those things that we have to do. So that took up a day's worth of training there. Hosted a biannual or bi-monthly chiefs meeting. Attended lots of school events at the school, whether they're sport events or stuff like that. And that's kind of it.
Anybody have any questions for Scott? Thank you.
Thanks.
Sam could not make it tonight, his report is there. I'm sure most of this will get, some of this will be repeated in Rob's report, so we'll move on. Lyle, campground?
Okay, month of August, we were down a little bit on campsite rentals. Stands to reason, school was getting going in the last 2 weeks and so forth. There was still at 138 active sites in the month of August. Month of July, we had 116 active sites. Or 169, excuse me. And other than that, we had a good holiday. We were full all one day. And cutting grass and cleaning fire pits and so forth, and dealing with a few other issues. We had a problem with the bathroom lot, had them taken care of, and so that's my report. Any questions?
Any questions for Lyle? Thank you. Correspondence, there was quite a little bit of it this past month. We received a letter from the Village of Elk Rapids after a meeting on August 17th. The Village of Elk Rapids Village Council voted unanimously to approve Resolution 1573 to express appreciation to the Village of Central Lake for their assistance in the aftermath of the August 2nd, 2015 storms. On behalf of the Village of Elk Rapids, I'd like to thank you and your staff for your consideration and help with our cleanup efforts. There is a full resolution that was printed up. If anybody would like to see it, it's available. They were very appreciative of our presence over there. There are 2 letters regarding the park manager. I'm not going to read them entirely. They are positive in support of the job that Lyle's doing down there. And again, these are on file. I'm not going to hide them from anybody. If somebody would like to read them, they're here. I received 1 letter from a former employer to our clerk treasurer, Rachel. That was very positive, and saying that she did excellent work for him. And there again, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it was a positive correspondence. We received another one with regard to Sandy's work with the flowers this summer, and stating that has been looking really good all summer long. Thanking her for her work. There's a Title VI workshop from MDOT regards the MDOT Transportation, Michigan Department of Transportation Civil Rights Unit. It's with respect to Title VI, and that is being held in Lansing on September 23rd. If anyone would like to attend, further information is available here. There's a Michigan Public Service Commission hearing for Consumers Energy Company on September 17th, 2015 at 9 a.m. in Lansing. It has to do with expansion of energy efficiency programs for 2016-17 for Consumers Energy. And I am pleased to announce this correspondence. The Michigan Department of Economic Development has selected Central Lake to be part of a 10-community pilot program that is called Project Rising Tide. And there will be further information available in the future. There will be some meetings involved with the MEDC folks. And it's hopefully will benefit our economic development in the future. I'm sure it will. And I think that's all the correspondence. Committee reports. Rob? Streets?
Lights, streets, and sidewalks. Lights first, at the last meeting, there was concern brought up about the light over sites 5 and 6 at the campground. So on August 13th, Thursday, Sam and I went down and looked at that light. We can't move the light, it's in a fixed position, and then furthermore, while we were there, we talked to campers at both sites 5 and 6, and they liked the light. And they wanted it left right where it was at. So I, felt we should just leave it as is. So then I want to make sure to verify that other campers also liked the light there too. So I went back down on August 20th and talked to the campers at sites 5 and 6 again, a different set of campers. And they agreed that the light was not a problem at all. So in the future, what I'd like to see possibly is on the reservation site, the Sunrise reservation site, we mark where the lights are, so that way people, when they're making the reservation, say, oh, there's a light above us, we might not want to have that site. So that way, everybody knows the site that they're getting, and if there is indeed a light there, that would bother them. I think that's a good remedy to the situation. We can look at that in the winter when we've got time to modify, or hopefully modify, the Sunrise reservation website. Let's see, roads, they're done. We did have a little bit of washout along the newly paved roads, the rain that we had, so we're going to go back, put some more black dirt along there. Let's see, sidewalks, they're up to Covert Street, and they're heading south, eventually going to get up to, or I should say down to Ballard. That way the younger kids can walk all the way along Howard Street, especially in the winter, not being pushed onto the road. Keep the sidewalk cleared there. There was also concern about the sidewalk in front of the grocery store, and we addressed the non-colored concrete was chipping away and peeling away. So Sam found a product, an epoxy, that looks like concrete, behaves like concrete, but dries incredibly fast. And so they did that last week, and it turned out really good. So that was that. That's in front of the store, on Old State Road side of the store. Let's see, we had last Thursday we did have a roads meeting, and Layla and I discussed what to do about the red concrete that was poured in front of the grocery store. We addressed that early in the year. And after talking to a lot of people, the red stamped concrete, although there's some thought as to why it peeled up in such an accelerated rate, another thought was that also the stamping process that we use, put the concrete down, the red concrete, and we come with a 2x2 stamp, and that stamp with its hills and valleys in it is allowing water to settle in there in the wintertime. And they, talking to numerous people, they feel that that might also be a reason as to why this concrete's aging so quickly. So from now on, Leila and I have talked about it, and we thought, well, let's just go with the professionals, what they think. So we're not gonna do the stamping anymore. I need to replace the red concrete along that apron. We're gonna broom sweep it, just to make sure that we're not doing the same thing again and causing the same problems, this accelerated aging of our concrete along that edge. That was that. And that's it.
Thank you. Rod, sewer and water?
Yeah, not a lot going on, but we have been staying busy. Sam's repaired more water meters, as he stated he's gonna keep doing. He did rebuild 2 sewer pumps, and he's been taking quite a few water samples, which have all been forwarded to the DEQ. And we should be getting them results back in 6 to 8 weeks, somewhere in there. But other than that, that's about all there is.
Bill and law enforcement?
The chief pretty well covered everything. We had a letter coming from Bob. He's gonna reduce his hours, and he doesn't plan on doing any more code enforcement, so at some point we'll have to look at hiring somebody to settle for that. We'll take that up later on. That's about the only thing I have on it.
Melissa, communication?
Everything that I need to talk about is gonna be on the agenda with the policy, so, thank you.
Joe? No.
I was gone for 2 weeks out of state, so I didn't get a lot there. I looked at the revenue and expenditure, a couple of questions on that, which were able to answer for me today. I met with Mr. Terry Moon on a couple of issues that he had trying to address, and got with Scott. Scott has assured me that they're doing everything and all that they can with that, and so, and answered any other question. It seems most all, everything up there is civil, but Mr. Moon had addressed with me, so I don't know what else to do with that. Other than that, that's all I got.
Leila, Park?
Well, I commend Lyle on doing a fantastic job. I've heard nothing but good praise for him, and the park is looking beautiful. I'm well satisfied how it is being run. We have maybe 1 or 2 people that give us a problem, but we're hoping to correct that. Other than that, everybody seems pretty well pleased.
Especially the neighbor.
Yeah, especially the neighbor.
Me too.
Thank
We
you.
camped there all summer.
Thank you. That's it.
Oh, we got Donaldson Park too, remember?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That sounds right. You, go ahead and give the report on that one then.
Last month, Rob Shook has donated 2 outdoor basketball poles to Donaldson Park. So Sam and I went and looked at them. They will fit in the existing spot where the older backboards are now. Hopefully, they'll be up and functional here in the near future. And that's it.
We're going to pour cement to those poles tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow, yep.
My report, I got a request for a pickleball court to be created within an existing tennis court. I'll pass this back to the Parks and Rec Committee. The gentleman who asked said he would pay for the paint that would create the pickleball court. So I don't know what condition the tennis ball court is up at Donaldson Park. That's the only one that we have, I think. The township was going to be approached for the same request. So I'll pass that down to Leila and we'll pursue that. The DDA approved a $1,500 budget for the Chamber of Commerce grounds with the stipulation that it had to be done yet this year. And the effort is underway, I know that much. So last month I received a document, a letter with several pictures of the condition of the community. All the council people have received those that letter and those pictures. And my intention is to, I have looked at them already, some of those have already been addressed. And we will continue to do that as time and personnel allow us to do that. It's a matter of priority for the DPW more than anything else. So, and that's all I have. Treasurer's report? Need a motion to approve? Just need a motion to approve expenditures of $138,169.85. That includes $124,172.55 of paving and street work done last month. Any discussion? Need a motion to approve the bills?
A second.
Moved and supported by Chapman and Bodley. Roll call vote, please.
Bodley?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Tyler?
Yeah.
Bitter?
Yes.
Wellman?
Yes.
Eckert?
Yes. No new business. Move on to action items. We have DDA has requested that we approve Mr. Mark Douglas as a member of the Planning Commission DDA. Need a motion for that to happen?
I'll make the motion.
I'll support.
It's been moved and supported. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is passed. Approve changes to communication policy to include email policy and updates.
You have two copies, one is a front to back sheet, one is a 3 pages sheet. The 3 pages one is the original one that I sent to Rachel a couple of months ago, probably. You'll see the strikeouts. The strikeout means that that's what was in the document, and I like to do a strikeout so we can see what's been removed from it. You'll notice several changes, giving us an email account, or those of us on the council who wish to have an email account. On the updated version that Rachel made, she made some edits unbeknownst to me. I would like the council to consider approving the one that I created. Notably, in this document that Rachel prepared, I put in a couple of places that the communications chair have the ability to use the Facebook page or suggest an edit to the website or other minor things. And those were stricken, so I would like to have that put back in. And then also at the bottom of this page, you see the roll call to date with the name and who voted what. I would like to see that added to things when we take a roll call vote, that's on there so we know who voted what. That's it.
Any further discussion?
I've looked at this a few times and we went over these once before when it came to the first time addressing the Facebook and website communication policy. And we all thought at the time that it was best that we have a hired employee be the one sole person responsible for administrating that. And I think I'm gonna stick with that. And I think the council at the time thought that was a great idea. So I would make a motion to approve the first document that Rachel was presented without the stricken.
I agree. I remember when we did that, we were having problems with too many people that we couldn't hold accountable. You know, elected officials are pretty hard to do anything with. And they were posting things that weren't approved or.
Well, I'm gonna adamantly disagree because when I look at the Facebook page today, it hasn't been used. There's things on there that need to be removed. It still has the police car for sale on there. The things that need to go on the Facebook are, we have news, cigarette butts things at the park. We've had this event, things like that. It's impossible for Rachel to do all those things, and she's gonna be gone and leave here soon, so who's gonna take up that? So I think my problem is that I'm prepared to work as a committee person and make a post when we need to. You know, you may not have had that before, and yeah, there was some uncontrolled postings at the previous Facebook page. That was wrong, that was very wrong. So I'm behind my policy 100%, and I think if you read it, it's clear.
I'm gonna go back to, I think having one person accountable for it is perfectly fine, and I guess if you're looking to update the Facebook or the website, it would be, as communications chair, your responsibility to sit down with Rachel and do it, as she would update it for you at the time with your recommendations, or the council's, or the president's, or however it needs to be done.
Anybody else have any input?
No, I agree with Joe. I think it should stay just the way it is with, when you're accountable for it, you have been right along with us with that.
So when there's some information that's not there, or it's wrong, what do we do? Then it's Rachel's issue?
You get with
Do you
Rachel,
have
if you
a-
feel it's wrong or needs to be updated, you get with her, make recommendations, and she would make them and move forward. It's part of communication.
If things haven't been changed, so she is accountable for that right now. I mean, if the police car is still on there, we sold the car, it should have been removed. That's her job. My job is monitoring that. I'm not very adept at Facebook paging and all of that, and I am too old. But I do believe, I think Joe and the other council people are correct, that we need one person accountable for it. And as council people, then if we see something on that should be changed, then that concern should be addressed to Rachel. And it more than likely will get changed. If she doesn't feel it should be removed, then I think by somebody else's suggestion, I think then I ought to be included in that discussion.
Absolutely.
And we'll make a decision. But I do agree that I think there's one person that should be accountable for that. We may not be here in another year and a half. And the policy would have to be changed again. And I don't think,
It's not specific to me, it could be anyone who's sitting in this communications chair space. It's not Melissa, it's whoever sits in the communications chair space.
yeah,
You know, Facebook is not like this thing that's gonna ruin the world. I mean, I'm talking about posting some pictures and update, it's not, you know, I admin several sites and there's oftentimes more than one admin.
I don't disagree with you. You have some unique capabilities that I don't think most of us have here. And we're fortunate, from my perspective, to have you here for that reason. But to have you go in and access that site, I don't think that's a precedent that we should follow at this point in time. I think your input is tremendous, and I think it ought to be directed to Rachel. If there's a conflict, then call me into the program.
I agree 100%.
If there's conflict, I'll bring it into the program.
Thank you.
So,
We have a motion on the floor to approve the single-page document, front and back. Is there any further discussion? Need a support from Chapman? Let's roll call it.
Boswell,
yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
Clark,
Yeah, I don't know enough about this to vote, I'm gonna abstain.
Smith,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Johnner,
No.
Heck,
Yes. And the DPA approved at their meeting the $1,500 budget for the Chamber of Commerce building improvements, the grounds improvements, and we need to approve the resolution for them for that budget.
My question on this that I would like to ask before we do is, originally the first quote that was submitted was for Simon's Gardens, and I just wondered if since we have somebody taking care of the flowers in town already, and we've done such a wonderful job as we're getting letters and people telling us how good our flowers are looking uptown this year, was that person contacted and asked to do the work around the chamber cabin before we bring in another outside company? You know, I don't know the answer, but it's just asked if we did.
Does she do that kind of work?
Again, I don't know, I just wondered.
That's a lot more extensive.
Most of the labor is gonna be provided by DPW as far as the pulling of what's there. There may be some supervisory labor from Simon Gardens, because that's who was approached by the flower garden, or the garden club.
Garden club.
And, there's gonna be volunteer work from the garden club, so
So if we approve this, does it lock Simon Gardens into it, or can the chamber still say, you know, we got $1,500 the council approved to fix up the chamber cabin, could they go outside then?
Mrs. Carlton has gone to Simon's Garden and made the deal with Simon's Garden. I don't know what Simon's Garden would say if someone else stepped in and said, this is a bust.
And under 1,500, we don't need, or under 2,500, we don't need 3 bids, so. I mean, I'm all for it, don't get me wrong, I just wondered if that person that was asked to be involved with it, being they've done such a good job already.
I don't know if she was asked or not. I don't know if she's part of the garden club. She might be. So,
I can't answer that either, I don't, that was my only question, but.
I don't know if she's in there or not. I don't have a new list. I can't tell you that.
I'm sure her input could be had by asking, so it's a good resource. I'll throw it back to, I think Jeanette Carlton is the kind of the spearhead behind the whole thing. So.
Oh, and they're obviously capable of doing the work too, don't get me wrong, I know this.
Just an update on that, we met with Sam last week, and the trees aren't going to be removed, they're perfectly fine as they are, they'll just be trimmed, so that everything's gonna be okay.
So that, I think, was quite a good portion of the labor. So that being the case, and that budget is gonna be more than enough, I would assume, so. Need a motion to approve the change in their budget.
I'll make the motion.
Support.
Moved and supported, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Is there any public comment? Yes,
I
Maria.
had a question about the beautiful flowers. Does the village do the library too?
No.
No. Okay,
No.
that's also exclusive.
We got whole business, I forgot that. We're not spending on money.
It's already.
Old business, campground reservation rules. We've had some concerns. Lyle's had concerns. He's getting feedback on our rule changes that we implemented. And we heard a public comment tonight with respect to some of that. And I thought that this should be on our agenda for discussion tonight to somehow work out something that's apparently needs to be revised because it's creating too much controversy. And some of that is the requirement of paying in full when the people reserve. That has been not well received. And I think to some degree we need to find something that the public will find a little more agreeable than what we have produced at this point in time, so.
On that same lines there, I had an occasion to talk to 2 different campers. One, I moved his trailer back and forth in the spring and fall there. And he said that he's a retired person also, and he relayed to me that he'd like me to pass it on to the board, that he will continue to stay there, you know, open and closing, regardless of what we do, but it'll make it much more difficult for him, because as Marlene alluded to, that he's on a fixed income, he's a disabled retired. And he says, you know, he's on a monthly income, so it's difficult for him to come up with the whole season at once, but he said, don't think I'm saying I won't come back, because I will.
I think there's first of all, just to reiterate, the motion that was made was that you could make a reservation into the following year of that, so people could make reservations 1 year in advance for their stuff. The full payment came for 30 days or less. 30 days or more then become an extended stay.
It
After
wasn't
an
stated.
After an extended stay, we have always said and allowed the people to have a $100 deposit and then pay a monthly fee after that. At no time did we say that somebody staying for the complete summer has to pay up front. It's only the people that are staying 30 days or less that we required that. That was the motion that I made that passed council.
Okay, I didn't understand.
That wasn't
That
the
was
way I
not.
understood it.
Mm-mm.
That, we've done that with Mike down there, we've done it with the people up on 20th. I never once mentioned changing that portion of
We
our
haven't-
reservation.
We haven't done that for
policy.
Mike yet. We haven't started that policy yet.
I think we need to-
The thing is, why don't, we've had something that worked. We started it 2 years ago, it's worked. Why don't we stay with it? It was originally, for anything over 5 days, it was $100. Anything less than 5 days was full payment up front. And that would work for us. Why change it?
We went with the same rules and regulations basically as the state did after Rob Tyler's research last month, or 2 months ago on this. And we followed their guidelines and what they're doing. Again, they don't do extended stays of all summer as we do. So that ruling should have never changed, and it was there 2 years ago we allowed it. It's been there since we've started. The first year we implemented the reservation system, we required full pay. Rachel started it, she started working the system, she never once had one complaint of anybody in there. We're not asking for a full summer of it, it's only 30 days or less. I hope that helps you a little bit, Maureen, in understanding that it wasn't a down payment for.
It don't help me. It don't help me. And I'm sorry to object to some of this stuff, but let's keep things simple and go ahead with it. We have changed rules every year that I've been up here. And one time, 3 times in 1 year, this year was 2 times. Let's get something simple, leave these people alone, they know what they want, take their money and leave it go. You know, we can get too complicated here, and it just creates more trouble up there. These people are upset about a 30-day rule for cancellation. And that was in that,
One thing at a time, let's get the reservation first, let's.
Okay,
You're
all right.
you're muddying the waters.
but
I like your thinking though, but let's.
but
But why
Leila and
don't,
I looked at the old policy, do you have it here tonight?
no, I don't have
All
it
right.
with me tonight.
And it looked very simple and upfront, and I think was an oversight on our part.
It was.
We went to the full payment, not thinking about extended stay people.
That's
So
right.
why can't we just modify that tonight and change the wording to accommodate the long-term campers?
Extended stay people,
Or extended stay.
people doing an extended stay 30 days or more can't do it on their own. They have to go through an administrative person to get into that and do it anyways. So it's kind of a moot point to even put it on the website because they can't do it.
They can't, I was on the, they can't, you can only go for 14 days.
Exactly, so they can't do it themselves, so it's a moot point to put it on there, except for maybe the wording, and I would agree 100% here, the wording that if they wish to have extended stays, please contact an administrative assistant or administrator of the website.
So we're not charging anybody full payment for extended stay currently.
No,
All right, just something that kind of spiraled out of control,
It
that's,
did.
that is not true.
never have that I know of yet.
Well, it
So
was
there you go.
quite vocal down at the park. And the thing is, if we go back to the 5 days up front, after that, it would be the $100, and then we go from there. Because weren't they paying by the month then?
the extended stay is paying by the month.
See? And that solves a
They
complete
come in and
problem.
they
The average
They have
stay,
the $100, they come in, And normally within the first week, they pay up for that
For the
first
rest
one.
of it.
The average stay on sites, if I'm kind of remembering correctly, you said last 2 months ago there, Rob, was 12 days, if I remember right?
For which ones?
For average stay on the lake or whatever.
Average state,
You
Keep
mentioned,
going, I can look
yeah,
it
you
up.
mentioned an average stay.
yeah.
So the 5 to the 12 days, 20, it's a couple of $100. It's not that big of an issue to make these changes once again. As Lyle has said, we've made changes twice now, and now we're gonna make them a third time, and
Well, if we don't have where we have to pay for the year ahead, extended stays, then that's the way I understood the wording.
Yeah.
but we do gotta make sure that when we are making the reservations and people are that if we're having full payment or we're having deposits, that they are collected and that the monies are being collected that are supposed to be.
Why wouldn't
As
it?
long as them are all being done, that's.
They are being collected. You
Yeah.
got it. I mean, that computer says you owe it, you pay it.
Because I just think the deposit thing, and I've seen it in the past, that there's
Say,
deposits
you
not.
mean extended stay
Hey,
deposit?
We took a deposit for anything more than 5 days in the past. And at times, sometimes on deposits, and the credit card charges weren't even applied.
What? What?
What are you talking about?
Joe?
We've
I've
got,
looked at them and seen them, and so what I'm saying is if we're gonna have a deposit, then we need to make sure that everything's applied correctly, or go to the full payment.
I take offense to that right now. And I'm sorry, Joe, but I've had the case. We've been playing games with this park where our revenue is up, our whole thing is up and everything, and we're trying to do something for the village down here. And I take offense to just what you said.
Oh,
I'm very sorry, but I do take offense to that. And why can't we just have something simple and be done with it? If you go into a motel, you give them your credit card number. They take and charge the first night. If you stay there 4 nights, they charge you 4 nights. If they charge you stay there 1 night, they charge you 1 night. Why can't we have something just simple to work with and be done with it? It's less trouble all the way around.
I just come back from Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and when I made my reservation, they charged me for all 4 nights.
They
right
didn't
up
charge
front.
you until after you checked in.
But
let's get back to
Anyway.
extended
All
stay.
right, extended, I still say, after the 5 days, it is considered an extended stay, right? Am I right,
It's-
Lyle? That after 5 days?
Extended stays, we have a 30 days. If they stay 30 days, they qualify for an extended stay
Okay.
discount. That's what they do.
So regardless, so
But we got a lot
anything,
of them that stay 3 weeks.
so in other words, anything over the 5 days, they deposit $100 and that goes into whatever they're gonna stay.
Right.
That's what I'd like to get back to. 5 days, if it's under 5 days, they pay up front.
If you go online right now, and I'll read it directly from the website. All sites have a 15-day maximum stay, except sites 36, 37, 38, 39, period. Lakefront sites require a 4-night minimum stay, comma, on the weekends.
Oh,
So,
that's true.
this implies, or I should say, as I read it, 15 days is the maximum stay on all sites except 36 through 39.
Rob, excuse me, but that, I know what it is, but that was supposed to be.
That's the internet site.
That was supposed to be removed after the first meeting that we had here.
Yes.
That, because there was,
Did council approve that?
yes, they did.
I don't remember what we did.
That was supposed to be removed. There's no sense of having those other sites sitting in the center if we can't take and rent them out. I mean, 15 days, I can understand the water, that's always been on the water. But you check back,
I don't remember ever.
you check back, but I believe that was,
I just went on the website to
yes, I know.
to get some
but I don't-
knowledge, that's all.
I don't think it's been changed. But I believe it was
What meeting was that, do you know for sure? Because we can look back at our minutes and find out.
I don't know for sure, but it would be probably the second one after which year,
So June,
probably May.
so we can look
That
back
might
at
have
May,
been- there
June,
were
before
several
we make a
things in
decision
the
on it. We look back and see if the
website
council
fixes that we
approved it
had.
before it's changed though.
He said there were several website fixes that we looked at, and I think it was in with those. So, I don't know, I'll look in my records too.
Back to extended stay.
All right,
How long
let's
is
go.
it? Is it 5 days, 15,
Yeah, go back to
30? What is it?
So, these folks at extended stays are not paying any other upfront money, so
Just $100.
just $100, the traditional way you and I
Right.
looked up
Right?
at our meeting.
Mhm.
So, we're gonna check that off the list.
Okay, and then under the 5 days, they pay whatever time you're staying up front.
How do we come up with the 5-day? What was the magic?
You know, that was Lyle's recommendation, to take a deposit rather than the full payment for
No,
less
that's
than
not what
30
we're
days.
talking about now, we're talking about the 5 days instead of 4.
That recommendation was mine, that we took off in East Jordan, kind of followed their deposit policy at that time.
We may want to also kind of hold off a little bit and see what other campgrounds are doing, because I know East Jordan right now is doing a complete revamp of their whole system.
Yeah, but you
Well,
know, we've
they
been
can just-
arguing this over too much
But
now.
we-
We gotta get it done now, because people are reserving for next year and in 17 already. We've gotta take care of it now.
Well, the
We
only
gotta have
ones
something
is the ones that are already
consistent.
there.
Something that we can work with and be consistent about. We shouldn't have to take and change policies and procedures and rules every year that I come on site. This park's an old park. We've been operating for years, and we keep taking and messing around.
Can we clarify what extended stay is? Is it over 5 days? Is it 2 weeks like the website? Is it
Yes,
30
it's been
days?
30
Is
days
it
or
all
more.
summer? What is it?
In the past, it was 30 days or more.
I think
Do we have that written
conflicting
somewhere?
information, so
Or
I
is it
think we
sorted
gotta
out
do some
here?
homework.
But, all right, but the thing is, if you go, well, under 5 days, we charge them full, or they pay their full rent, right? So what are you gonna do between 30 days and that 5? Why not just say extended is over 5 days, instead of just saying you've got, what, 25 days there, that, what are you gonna charge them for?
Well, extended stay, they get the discount.
get a $2 discount.
Then it should be anything over 30 days would be an extended, that they can get their discount with.
Stay 30 days.
That way, anything over 5
Yeah.
days,
What we just said.
says
That's what it says.
Yeah.
but then, so anything over 5 days, they're paying $100 deposit regardless. Right?
No,
No? Then
not
why
right
do
now, that's not the way it
you-
is.
No, but I'm saying, this is what we want to do. Get it back to where it's simple. Is that correct?
That is simple.
See? It's-
That is.
Rob, you remember
That
when
is
you
simple.
did the research from the state? They required full payment.
Full payment up front, but they did not have extended stay. And I think a maximum you can stay at a state park is 14 days.
This is water's rights.
So then we go to 14 days,
That's
full
what-
payment up to 14 days after that is, we consider extended stay now.
But why
And they get the
change
$2
it? Why not just leave it to 5 days?
It's already, we got it right there, it's already at 14 days.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't this whole conversation initiated from people canceling out 2 and 3 days before the weather, and we never filled them sites? That's why we initially wanted them to make a full payment, and it was non-refundable up to a certain day. Isn't that this whole thing started?
Yeah.
That-
Now we're on
that's
extended
what I
stays
thought.
and all
That-
kinds of stuff.
And that's why we started this to begin with.
Right, because we were
Why would-
losing money because of people were
Right.
looking 5 days out in the
Right.
weather, and they're canceling, we weren't charging them a dime.
We were putting that $100 or that minimum deposit up there and a 72-hour window for cancellation.
Right. And we
it-
changed that 72-hour window
Yeah.
to,
30 days.
And
Well, we
it's
won't
worked
change.
for us.
Get it back to 72.
well, it sounds like we were getting burned at 72.
No,
No.
we weren't getting burnt. We weren't getting burnt. Before we had that up there, we were getting burnt because we didn't have that 72-hour window before. When we first started doing it, we were just taking a $25
Right.
deposit, and I was keeping track of it on paper.
So do you feel 72 hours is enough to refill that site if somebody else canceled? Do you have somebody else you can get a hold of?
The only time,
Right,
Yeah.
the only time,
You're losing it.
you're losing the revenue regardless.
the only time we have problems is this time of the year. And you're gonna have it this time of the year. You know,
I think that's where this whole
And
thing
this,
generated.
and this time of
from.
the year is when we should really look at discounting rates to get more people in there
Right.
rather than,
Mhm.
But we talked about, didn't we talk about that one?
rather than changing the
In
rules for the entire
September,
year.
lowering the rates?
They're just people not, just not coming.
Pardon?
Our rates
after Labor Day.
are-
Well, after after Labor Day, you're right, 'cause we had a full park.
I personally would like to stay the way we had it before we got into this other. And leave it go, make it simple, leave it simple, and stay with it, let's run with it. We're doing a good job with this reservation system. I think you can show us what we're way up this year,
Yeah.
and it's worked.
2 months ago, when we talked about this and made these changes, why was that brought to the council's table if we wanted to keep it the same?
What was, you
The
said
the
that?
changes, why were these changes brought to us 2 months ago to make if we wanted to keep it the same? Right now, we're saying, take back what we did 2 months ago. Why was it in front of us 2 months ago in the first place? What was the issues then that brought this to the table?
I have no idea. Oh,
So we made changes to something there was no problem with, because
Yeah, because
somebody
somebody
brought it to
thought-
the table.
somebody thought that we'd make more money by being greedy. Go back to what we were doing and ignore the past, go back to what we were doing. 5 days, and over that 100. I mean, that's not what that's what I meant. I mean,
I
just
don't
let it
understand.
drop,
I don't
let it
understand.
drop, and let's go from there. We're wasting.
Please, somebody tell me why we made the change 2 months ago. That's all I'm asking.
I don't know, all I know is.
Somebody brought this to the table.
It was March, April.
No, this changed to change the
The
reservation and the 30
Oh, of the
days
money
and all
up
that.
front.
2 months ago.
That was done 2 months ago. Why was that brought in front of the council then?
Because what was happening, if, check me if I'm wrong, was with the reservation policy, we were using a credit card, there was a $6 transaction fee. And every time, if we get a deposit for $6, then we use the Visa again for another $6, we've been charged $12 for reservation fee. And we said, if you start thinking about all $12 for each campsite, we're losing $12 per campsite because they
That's where we went
swipe
to
the
the full
credit card.
payment.
That's why we went to the full payment, because we were losing money on
Okay.
every time an individual used their credit card. I
Okay,
believe,
so that clarifies why we made the change from a deposit to full payment, because we were losing money on the credit card system.
correct.
So do we want to go back to losing money on the credit card system?
You shouldn't be losing money on the credit card.
Every time you run a credit card, we get charged $6.
We get charged every time we run a credit card, but if those people pay that, you also take and get a positive balance.
So now we're charging them $12 or whatever it is every time you run it. We're charging them more money for a campsite that they would have been charged the same.
And there were, for a while, that they were having problems with the reservation system there on the credit card, and they were double charging us on reservation.
Because they used their credit card twice then.
No, not because they used the credit card twice. They used it once and they were charging us twice.
You said us, they were charging the campground.
They were charging the village or charging the campground twice.
Software company was charging the village twice.
Yeah.
Rachel, did you get any complaints and it was fixed and everybody was refunded, everything was taken care of correctly?
The only charge that is being charged to the customer is the $6. They're not paying for every time you process a credit card.
They're
We are.
not.
We are.
Oh, we are paying more, so,
And every time they go in and make a reservation, it's $3.50 right off. So $2.50 is to cover the credit card processing, which doesn't cover it most of the time.
right.
If they
So we
would
change the rules to accommodate
The
loss
credit-
of money in credit card charges
Correct.
to us.